And now I'm going to introduce Margaret Golden as the Conservation Coordinator for CalWater. And she's going to talk from an urban perspective, the same basic theme: what's being done, where does it come from, what's it being driven by. And then, as noted, after the break, we'll move on to the what can we do, which sets the stage for what the future might hold. So with this, I'm going to hand it over to Margaret.
Hello, everyone. My name is Margaret Golden. I am the Conservation Coordinator for the California Water Service in the Central Region. The California Water Service is a statewide water utility. We have over 400,000 service connections across 23 districts in the state of California. And if you live in Salinas, it's likely that we provide your water. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some water management strategies, and as David has mentioned today, just things that we've already done in the past, things that we're currently doing, and things that we could potentially be doing in the future. Okay, so the agenda for today is to go over some legislative history, again, to talk about some things that we as a company have already been doing and across the state level that have been implemented. Then we'll go on to talk about some water conservation programs, both indoors and outdoors. And then we'll finish by talking about some new innovative technologies to look forward to in the future. Okay, so legislative history. As many of you are probably aware, California has a rather long and complicated history when it comes to water, specifically water conservation. So today, this slide just highlights some of the main pieces of legislation over the past couple decades and specifically focuses on some that are happening today. So we have the Model Water Efficient Landscape Ordinance, also known as the MWELO, that was established in the early 1990s. We also have the Water Conservation Act of 2009. And to bring it more up to date to present day, we also have the current rulemaking, or making conservation a way of life, in addition to the non-functional turf ban, the latter of both of which I will talk about more in detail in the coming slides. Okay, so making conservation a way of life, the current rulemaking. By show of hands, how many of you have heard about this? Okay, a fair number. Okay, so essentially this is a rulemaking that was initiated by the State Water Resources Control Board that establishes individualized efficiency standards that each urban water retail supplier is required to meet. The rulemaking was born out of Assembly Bill 1668 and Senate Bill 606, which were bills that were passed by the legislature in 2018 to develop a regulatory framework to help the state move toward greater water use efficiency as a whole. Okay, so to move on, some more additional exciting legislation. Coming up, we have the non-functional turf ban. Now, by show of hands, who has heard of this one? Anyway? Okay, so a couple, maybe similar people, if you're in the conservation legislation arena. But so essentially, with climate change on the rise, causing more frequent and intense droughts, the need to reduce water consumption and promote sustainable landscaping has only increased in the past couple decades. So this new law prohibits watering non-functional turf, in parentheses, because they're still working out the exact definition of that, with potable water on any commercial, industrial, or institutional landscapes. The ban will begin to take effect in 2027, starting with local governments. It will continue to take effect in 2028 for commercial and industrial properties, and 2029 it will affect HOAs. Okay, so moving on. We have just a few fun facts about both indoor and outdoor water conservation. The statistic on the right provides a great segue into some of the programs that we'll be talking about in the upcoming slides, and it also is a great statistic to show why we focus most of our efforts on outdoor water conservation programs. Okay, so turf buyback programs are one of the most popular outdoor water conservation programs today, but the programs of the past did not really have a lot to offer for either the surrounding environment or the customer. When most people thought of converting their landscape, they would think of drought or desert-like landscape, cactuses, things like that, and yeah, they weren't very good for the environment either. But conversion programs of today have a lot more to offer, both the customer and the surrounding environment. Most of the new programs require a California native plant requirement, which is advantageous to both the local biodiversity and the customer because it increases the aesthetic value of the home. And the only downside of current programs is that they can be a bit more costly because they require some of these native plants. But the good thing is that most water utilities do compensate for those additional fees in their rebate programs. Okay, so moving on, some more outdoor water conservation rebate programs. This is an example of, we have irrigation smart landscape tune-up programs. This is one of ours specifically, but these are great programs that basically they'll send a licensed landscape contractor out to the customer's home completely free of charge to do a workup of an evaluation of the current irrigation system and do all of the retrofits completely free of charge to the customer. So a really great opportunity for our customers. And to move on to some more indoor water conservation programs, these are another great, easy way for customers to participate are conservation kits. They come with all the things listed on the slide, some high-efficiency bathroom aerators, leak detection tablets, things like that. Great way for customers to get involved on a low, easy level. Okay, so to move on to more specifically CalWater water conservation rebates, we offer rebates indoors and outdoors for both our residential and commercial customers. There's a lot of overlap between both, but yeah, and so on the slide you can see the list of the various different ones we offer to our residential customers, many of which I've already talked about, the Lawn to Garden program, our Smart Landscape Tune-Up program. So moving on, these are a list of our commercial rebate options. Again, similar, many are the same as our commercial or our residential customers. One to highlight is our customized incentive program that is unique to our commercial customers, and it's a great program. It offers some of our large commercial customers that have more specific, unique water use needs. We create a customized incentive program to help them save water specifically. Okay, so yeah, to kind of wrap up all of that information, this graphic shows the lifetime savings that we saw from both our indoor and outdoor water conservation programs in the past year, 2023. So as you can see, the outdoor water savings programs tend to have much greater water savings. So we tend to focus a lot of our efforts on those. Okay, so now we've talked about a little bit of the past legislative history. In addition to things that we're currently doing now, we'll wrap it up and talk about some things that can be done in the future and new technologies that we're interested in. So yeah, this is one new technology that we've been investing in. So fire departments in CalWater service areas can use millions of gallons of water required for training academies, engine and pump testing. So we have invested in what are called DRAFTS units, which are direct recirculation apparatus, firefighter training and sustainability units, which are units that are used to recirculate water that is normally used that is normally wasted during these training practices. And here's an example on the slide of exactly how that's being done. So yeah, again, during these training operations that are obviously necessary, they can use millions of gallons of water. So the apparatus that you can see, the little cube box connected to the fire truck, they just do their trainings right into the truck, and you can also do it from the top as well. And yeah, it's all connected, so it creates a closed loop system. So essentially, no water is wasted. So yeah, that's a great new technology that we've been interested in and investing in. And yeah, that kind of wraps it up. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, what's the single most effective tool you have for reducing customers' water consumption?
Good question. Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the customer, but I would say we see the most water savings from our lawn to garden program. I mean, yeah, taking out that turf, it just uses so much water. So we see the greatest water savings there. But yeah, as the slide showed, for indoor water use, the toilets, so yeah, converting to a high efficiency toilet can save, hundreds of gallons a month of water.
And to maybe follow up on that, are you seeing an increase in rainwater capture residentially or cistern use?
Good question. I think we don't offer that. We don't currently offer like the rain barrels. Some other agencies have offered rain barrels, and I think we currently don't offer those. And I think the main reason why we haven't is, I guess, what I've heard. But it's a good question, and I would like to know more about it. So I'm going to investigate this. But from what I understand is that the return on investment isn't that high. Mostly, I think, because depending on where you are in California, since we're statewide, like some areas rain a lot more than others. So yeah, we try to make sure our rebate programs will apply all across the state. And yes, some areas don't get as much rain, so the return on investment isn't that great. But
That is a slide that Abby will be talking about, and an interesting little factoid, so I don't interrupt Abby when she's doing her, of what can we do. An interesting little point for California is Californians are allowed to do rainwater capture. Other western states are not. So for
Right.
instance, in Colorado, the Colorado state law is such that if it falls from the sky, it's Colorado's water. And
Right.
individual people are not allowed to capture it. So you believe it or not, we get an incentive or get a benefit by being in California because that's not allowable in other states. So let's go to this gentleman with a question.
Yeah, a question on number 5 and number 8. On number 5, talk about industrial areas, I'm assuming the urban areas that would be. Yeah, an assembly bill there. So are you going to be working with the cities? I used to own a business in Salinas on a little industrial street called Johnson Avenue. There were really only two people on that street. There was our company and there was an agricultural operator in the truck area. And we did some refencing and the city forced us to put in bushes we didn't want to put in that required irrigation. And so I hope that you're going to move quickly with the cities that you operate in to get them to comply with this law, because we spent a bunch of money that we didn't want to spend. It's more of a comment than just a question. But I guess how quickly can you move on that, getting particularly the city of Salinas and I guess King City where you operate to conform to this assembly?
Yeah, great question. So as a water utility, I don't think we're technically allowed to enforce it. That'll be more on the state level, but we can highly encourage. And so yeah, that's why we're really trying to ramp up our programs right now and say, we have these programs available, $3 per square foot to rebate your lawn, convert your lawn. Do it now before this takes effect.
Yeah, you may have some help because I know some of the areas here in Salinas are having a real problem with HOA spending a lot of money on landscaping.
Yeah.
And I've gone and I've advocated
Right. Yeah.
If I may, I spoke about Tia Fleming, who would be coming on the last one of the workshops. So CalWater, this organization we talked about, they act more that intermediary between the jurisdictions, the governmental jurisdictions, and the local jurisdictions in the state. So I know Tia personally. I was with her yesterday, as a matter of fact, in a different meeting. So I'll pose this question to her as well, and I'll try to get an answer or have her weave that in to her presentation on the 11th.
Good. And then on number 8, you talk about rebate programs.
Yes.
What's your confidence level with the state being in a financial jeopardy and being locally out of line with the budget? These types of rebate programs will continue going forward so you can help realize where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. I mean, it's a state that got the program.
Great question. I hope not. But yeah, I think, like, for instance, with the non-functional turf ban, I think, yeah, once that kind of comes into play, it's possible that there'll definitely be a extreme cutback on the funding because, you know, they've had commercial organizations have had, you know, decades to do this and have had incentives available. And then at the last minute, they, you know, yeah, so I think it's possible that it could decrease, but yeah, I'm not for sure.
We'll find out. I'll
Yeah.
talk to you about that as well. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Does CalWater have a tiered rate structure?
If you didn't hear, the question was, does CalWater have a tiered rate structure? And I know Abby will speak to that a little bit as well, but I'll look to you if that exists now in terms of water usage and whether, you know, the more a person uses, the more they get charged, things like that.
Right. I don't think so, but I'm not an expert on that, and I can get the exact answer for you.
We'll look into that. We'll get an answer. Other questions? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Does these laws pertain still if desal is brought into the picture for the water instead of groundwater? Or those programs would they still work?
Good question with desalination. I know that.
They don't have a desal as a factor. These are sort of statewide programs because of the overall reduction. They're not predicated on water sources.
But if you use recycled water, you're exempt. So I don't know. It might, if you use desal, I'm not sure about that. It's possible.
Other questions? Comments? All right, we'll run those questions